Welcome back to another edition of Lifting with the Stars. And today we have Amy with us. Are you nervous, Amy?
Yes, a little bit.
I'm a little nervous too. Not really, but we're gonna have fun.
Yes.
Amy turned to me maybe 3 weeks ago, correct me if I'm wrong. And Amy said, it's our 1 year anniversary and I am down over 100 pounds.
Yeah, right at the end of June.
And you know what, you caught me off guard because that's not anything we've ever done. Like, we don't track weight progress together. And you caught me off guard. And also, I see you 4 days a week. So I see you so frequently, sometimes I don't notice the visual as much. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I always tell people, the last person to notice your results is gonna be yourself, because you see yourself in the mirror every single morning. Like, the people who really notice first are people who you don't see often, like somebody you see at Christmas time or 4th of July. Well, after you said that to me, I sized you up and I thought, oh my God, you really did lose over 100 pounds. You look phenomenal.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thanks.
What motivated, I still remember when you first got started, but I would like to hear from you. What motivated you to get started training?
Well, I was on a weight loss journey, so I had already lost some weight, but I was doing absolutely nothing about increasing activity. And I knew that, that was only half the battle. So, and I also wasn't feeling like I was getting any stronger or fitter or able to do more. Like, I was just smaller. And so I wanted to do that. And I've actually been following your page for several years, waiting to being nervous, but that's kind of my trademark. So I finally reached out and sent a message. I think Gina responded immediately. And I asked a couple questions and they sent me to you. And then I panicked and I canceled our meeting.
Oh, good. I thought I was going to bring that up.
No.
She quit before she started.
I did. I canceled the meeting. I was like, no, this isn't going to work. I sent an email and you called me right away. My phone rang. I don't even think I answered it right away.
I don't even think
sent you to voicemail.
But I don't know if I ever told you the story of why I called you right away. So I was just about to work out. My father and I were about to work out. It was a Monday. And so this is around 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. And I always tell myself, don't look at your email before you work out, because then I get consumed with things if I see messages that I don't, you know what I mean? Not favorable messages. So I see a message from this girl who I never met before, but she's quitting and dropping out before we even got started. We were supposed to meet that night, but I could sense the panic in your message. And I actually read it out loud. Both my parents were here, and I read it out loud to them. And I go, you think I should just let this girl go, or I should give her a call? And they go, no, you should let it. No, I'm just kidding. But I could sense the panic in your message. So I want to give you a call. I think we were on the phone for 30 minutes. My father was not that thrilled when I came back in for our workout 30 minutes later, if we were supposed to get started. But talking to you on the phone, I'm really glad that I did reach out, because it's almost like you were scared of succeeding, and that's where the panic was coming from. So I'll let you continue.
Yeah. So I finally came in, and I remember we met on a Wednesday, and you're like, I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, I'm not ready tomorrow. I'm a teacher. It was last week of school. I'm like, okay, I need a couple more days. But then I came in and I hid in my corner and got started. And it's been a year now, and now I've got my husband in here.
Yeah.
Because he was thrilled with everything and
so I want
to be part of it.
We're going to talk about that, but I want to pull back just a minute. And Amy and I have a little bit of a different relationship. We're okay teasing each other and giving each other a little hard. Actually, I'm not okay with you giving me a hard time, but I'm totally cool giving you a little bit of a hard time. But I want to back up to something you said, because it is one of the most common misconceptions. You said something to the effect of, you had already started a weight loss journey and you had lost some weight, but you felt like the fitness aspect wasn't there. When I hear that, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I only have to say this because my goal since I turned 40 is to be genuine. I cannot beat around the bush. Genuine is a euphemism for being
very honest.
Very honest. But I can do it in a really nice way. Okay. If you had continued that journey without adding in the weightlifting aspect, you would not have succeeded.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've talked about that since then, but I'm going to put you on the spot and quiz you. Why would you have not succeeded?
Well, because one, it would lower my metabolism, because
You
I'm
rock.
not building muscle.
I like you.
And then when you lose, you're losing fat and muscle. And then if you gain any back, you're just gaining back fat. So you actually end up fatter even if you weigh less, and then your metabolism is lower. I'm listening.
I feel like
to
somebody
everything
actually
you say.
listened to me. You know,
Yeah.
you talk back so much that
I
I
do.
can't tell what you're absorbing and what you're listening. It's weird having a conversation with each other, like when we're looking
Yeah,
straight ahead all the
it
time.
is.
You are 100% correct. So if you just, let's say somebody just followed a nutrition plan, they just dieted to lose weight. The weight they lose, like Amy just said, it's a mix. It's about 60% fat, but 40% muscle. So as they keep losing weight, they keep losing a significant amount of muscle. And muscle is the only thing that regulates your metabolism. So like Amy just said, let's say somebody loses, 50 or 100 pounds, right? They lose 100 pounds just from crash dieting. They lost about 60 pounds of fat, 40 pounds of muscle. Now they got two choices. What's gonna happen?
Well, they can keep going, which is going to be hard because they're not changing anything else.
But they could keep going.
But they're going to keep losing muscle.
Yeah, a lot of times people question me on that. Have you ever seen videos of somebody who is like in a POW camp and absolutely starved?
Yeah.
Like they get whittled down to nothing. They're eating nothing. Okay. Most people are not going to take themselves down to the level of organ failure. And that's a whole host of other problems if they did. But what most people do is they can only take away so much food, then they fall off track. Now let's say someone lost 100 pounds, so 60 of it was fat, 40 of it was muscle. They fall off track. Do they then start putting on 60% fat and 40% muscle?
No, it all comes back as fat.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially if you're not doing anything to build the muscle.
Their metabolism's in the gutter. And you know what? Here's one thing most people don't know, maybe you know this, is no matter what you do or how pristine you are with everything, as you lose fat, you're still losing muscle.
Yeah.
It's just, albeit at a slower pace. So like the goal with Amy or the goal with anyone that I train whose goal is body composition, so like losing fat, we got to accept that there's gonna be a little bit of muscle loss with that, even if we do everything right. But our goal is to do everything in the most optimal way possible so we lose as little muscle as possible, so we keep your metabolism as high as possible so your body can lose weight but keep a thriving metabolism. And then do you know what happens like when you get to your goal weight?
You just keep doing it.
No, actually. No, so it's kind of
then
cool.
you can start building muscle.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. So think about it. Like, let's just say, make somebody up. What's their starting weight?
I don't know, 250.
Okay, 250. And then what's their goal weight?
150.
Okay, cool. So let's say they do everything right and they get down to 150. They lose 100 pounds. Now they're sitting pretty at 150. They're feeling really good. They lost a bunch of fat. They maintained as much muscle as possible. Now we shift gears. The gears get shifted to, I want to really, really build muscle. I want to build a thriving metabolism. And that's how they go to the next level where they're able to maintain or continue to get lean as they build a metabolism.
Yeah.
So what were your initial goals when we first started?
I think I was really just focused on feeling healthier and like being able to do more. Like there were just things I couldn't do. Physically I couldn't do, and I was like really intimidated because I felt so out of shape. Like if my husband would like want to go to like a concert or a sporting event, I'd be like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can like climb the stairs or sit there or like all of that. And so that was like a big thing. I wanted to be able to do more and then just in general be healthier. Like I wanted to keep the weight loss, but I knew there was more to it than just doing it. Because I'd lost weight before, and then the second I stopped eating exactly on that plan, it was over. So I wanted like something sustainable.
Right, and before I ask my next question, but that's a really common misconception. I always say most people can't put down the wine long enough to realize it doesn't work. And what I mean by that is everybody at some point in time has said, I'm gonna stop drinking, and they lose like 10, 15 pounds on the scale, right? Then they start drinking again, and then they put the weight back on. But I think the common misconception is in their head, they think that had they continued not drinking, like 15 pounds would have turned into 20, would have turned into 25, would have turned into 30. And what they don't realize is there's different levels. Like that was just a small finite change that's gonna end, and then they need to move on to the next thing. So kind of what you said about when you follow like just a diet plan, most people don't stick with it long enough to realize that it doesn't work long term. They fall off track sooner than that.
Yeah.
So what did you try in the past? Like before you and I ever met, what kind of things have you tried?
So I've done Weight Watchers a couple times, and I was always successful with it as long as I stuck exactly to the plan. And the second I stopped like doing like the point counting, it was over, because I didn't actually learn how to eat. I just learned how to like play with the point count and like all the little tricks, like to get as many points as possible.
I'm gonna needle you a little bit now.
I know.
You ready? Here's what I'm gonna needle you about. But does it make sense to you that even if you had continued following the points,
Yes.
that is not gonna get you to where you wanna be because of all the factors that we talked about earlier?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I did, and that was just it, like even when, as soon as I quit and I gained back, like I was definitely like less healthy like than I was. And I did like a 5K program while I was doing that, and like a boot camp thing. But again, none of that really worked on building muscle. It was all about like burning calories at that exact moment, which, because I didn't know any better, I just ate back anyways, because I was like, oh, I'm burning these calories, I can eat more junk.
The calories, we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Calories are a completely fallacious concept. That's a much longer conversation than what we have time for right now. And at the end of the day, there's only, all of our bodies work one way. There's only one way to do this. And the only way to do it is to build your metabolism as much as possible. And conveniently, the best way to do that just happens to be strength training. And I'm going to say proper strength training. And in addition to doing that and building your metabolism, you need a sensible nutrition plan that is geared towards building that metabolism and burning body fat. So what were your initial impressions of Fit House? You mentioned hiding in the corner earlier.
I never really worked out before, and so the one thing I will say that I was like really happy about, like it's not like one of those gyms where you come in and everybody's like looking in the mirror, not everyone's wearing like matching little gym outfits. So that was good, because I was like in my crazy striped socks that I'm not wearing today. But it was like a really safe place. People were really nice, but I was still really intimidated because I didn't know how to do anything. Like I did not know how to do anything. I was at a very low level. And every new thing I was like terrified. Everything he was like, oh, let's try this. I was like, okay. But I mean, now I feel like it's like a family, you know.
Did I ever push you above what you were capable
No.
of doing?
As a matter of fact, sometimes I remember doing the step ups, and I was like trying to do one step, and I was like, it hurt. And you noticed that I was like wincing, and you're like, no, like you need to do it at your level. And so we moved it down, and now I can do 2 or 3 like levels of the step up. But then I had to do it right at the floor, and you know, that was the level I was at. And it was great. Like, because it wasn't, I never left here feeling defeated. I always left here feeling accomplished, that I had done what I needed to do and was making progress. And that was like a big thing for me, because I think when I'd gone to gyms before and tried to figure it out by myself, I always felt like I didn't know what I was doing, and like I wasn't making progress because I didn't know how to do anything, how to increase, how to improve, what level to start at. So I always felt like I left here feeling really accomplished. And that mentally was important to me too, because I felt like I could do it. Not just physically, but mentally, like I was capable, which I'd never really felt before.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that.
So
I always like to, whether it's with training or whether it's nutrition, meet everyone at their current level and also their level of participation. It's, again, there's only one way to do this. So as an example, what you just said when you were talking about the step ups, like when we first started, there's a couple muscles that really support the integrity of your knee. And one of those muscles is your vastus medialis. And yours was very weak when we first started. So I couldn't have you do, let's say level 2, we had to start with kindergarten, but we did, and we did that for an extended period of time. And then as you got stronger, I was able to progress you to the next level. So it's like we built the foundation of your body, and the things you're doing, I do remember how nervous you were when you first started. You were literally like shaking sometimes when you came in here. So I'm glad to hear that you felt comfortable, not just with me, but in the environment that we've created here. Before I rave about your results, because I'm thinking of where you are now compared to day one, let me ask you, what results have you seen since you started here at Fit House?
I just feel really capable. Like I'm very strong. Like I can do things, and not just even, not like, you know, like weightlifting stuff. Like I can, when I started, I could like barely carry like a big laundry basket up and down the stairs. I'd have to stop halfway, and now I do it like it's nothing. Like things like that. Our basement was flooding the one day, and I helped with the buckets, and I don't know if I would have been able to like carry this big bucket of water like before I started, you know, and keep doing it over and over, and it wasn't a big deal. It would have been like an overwhelming task. And so those things, even like I'm a teacher, I can step up on a chair in my classroom to do a bulletin board without having to like hold on for dear life while I drag myself up. I can just step up on the chair, and things like that are amazing, because just those everyday things that make me feel really like I'm making the progress that I need to.
I love when you come in and you share different stories with me, whether it's your students giving you a compliment over something, whether it's like a personal win like you just shared. Strength training is functional. Have you ever heard of functional training?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so functional training is complete bullshit. If you go, but it is, right? So it's like, look up, you see people doing wacky things like standing on one leg on a Bosu ball while they're lifting up a dumbbell over the head. All of that is bullshit. True strength training is functional because the strength you build inside of the gym is strength that you can actually carry over to your life. So let's rave about your strength that you built inside of the gym because I want to give you some props. When we first started, Amy we couldn't even lift the bar actually when we first started, like in bench press. What are you bench pressing now?
My like 1 rep max that I did the other day was 110.
Amazing. And that's starting, so that's over 110% improvement.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Your squat was getting so much better. And your squat's a work in progress right now.
Yeah, but I could barely I could barely squat at all, and now I'm like actually, getting somewhere close to the ground.
You are. Yeah. So you're right. Like when you first started, I would say it was like a 1/16 of a squat, and now we've gotten your knees strong enough where you are squatting right around parallel. We're going to continue getting those knees stronger, so eventually you are going to be squatting ass to the grass. Why is that important?
Full range of motion.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where we hear people, I bent over in my lazy Susan and I threw my knee out or threw my back out, whatever it is. So you talk about like being able to step up on a chair in your classroom, you're gonna be able to spring up on a chair in your classroom because your whole foundation is put together and your foundation is strong. We could sit here all day and rave about all of your progress. So I will just say I'm very, very proud of you and very, very proud of all the progress you've made because day one through like today, you're like a completely different person and not just physically, but mentally as well.
Oh, absolutely.
So you also participated in our New Year group nutrition program with Gina. What kind of results did you see? What did you gain from that program?
So I mean, I did obviously lose weight, which I know isn't always the goal, but
you did quit that one before
I
you
did
started.
quit a little bit with that.
FYI.
Yes, I did panic. As soon as I got the meal plan because it was different. I don't do well with change. And it's so funny because I panicked and then I ended up eating most of the stuff on there anyways, even though Gina met with me privately and gave me some ideas.
We should clear up this story. So Amy was going to do a group nutrition plan. She saw the group nutrition plan, panicked. Again, emailed me again. I give Amy a phone call. And I said to Amy, the trust you extend to me with training that you trust me with, please extend me that same trust with nutrition because we're not going to steer you wrong. So instead we pivoted and she did one-on-one with Gina and she ended up doing the exact same thing as original. But again, it was meeting someone at their level of participation. I'll let you continue.
I think what I learned a lot from that is I think I had really ingrained in myself that low fat was the way to go. And I was eating boneless, skinless chicken breast and I was eating low fat yogurt and things like that. And things on the plan that, try full fat yogurt, try chicken thighs. And I did find them not only to be very delicious, but to be very filling. So one of the breakfasts I know was the plain yogurt and you add in peanut butter, which peanut butter was one of those things I was oh, you can't really have that, it's so high calorie. And not only is it delicious, but I could eat that and be full for hours. And I knew that I was meeting my nutritional goals. I wasn't worried about meeting protein goals because I was so focused on it. But it gave me some really simple things that I could eat and meet my goals and not have to do that calorie counting where I felt I was playing with the system. Oh, if I eat 4 ounces less of this, I can have this later. I just ate and it was nice and I'm still eating a lot of the things that were on there. My whole family has fallen in love with eating something besides boneless, skinless chicken breasts.
I love it. That's the ultimate goal. When we do nutrition, the goal is a manageable lifestyle plan that you can not just do yourself, but share with your family, but something that you could keep going with. It's not a finite, this is 10 weeks and you're gonna beat yourself to the ground and then you can't wait to get off that plan at the end of it.
Yeah, it was all good food too. It wasn't it wasn't that typical what you think of low fat.
Tell me the exact. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Was it literally the exact opposite of everything you've ever
thought? Oh, absolutely. But I had one of my highest months of weight loss the month I did it. And after losing weight for over a year, I think I lost 11 pounds that month.
This is me being genuine right
now.
You know how I know somebody does not know what they're talking about when it comes to nutrition? When they say, don't worry, I know what I'm talking about. but I don't mean that in a poking fun way. What I mean it is, I know what it took for me in terms of certifications and knowledge, like to learn what to do. And I know if somebody has done that same thing or not, and if they haven't done that same thing or not, unless they're omniscient, there's no possible way that they know. But it's funny you hear that from you, because that's kind of the theme with everything, is most things in terms of training and nutrition are the exact opposite of the message that we've been fed for the last however many decades.
Yeah.
So how has just everything, how has training, nutrition, being healthier, how has it changed your life?
I just say yes a lot more. Like, I do so many more things. Like I you know, because I can, I physically can. I feel like I'm mentally more confident. You know, I mean, I did it last summer. I worked at a Girl Scout camp for, I did 1 week last year as a counselor all over the place. And literally every day I was like taking Advil, like, because I was in so much pain and exhausted. And I'm still exhausted because it's still hard, but like, I'm not in pain. I'm physically able to keep up with the girls. I'm not the last one in line, which is great. Like, I'm physically able to do so much more. And it's a great feeling to not have to think about it before I do it. Like, I don't have to like try to look and be like, well, where are the seats, or where are we going? How many steps are there? And I felt like I had to do that before and really plan, and now I can just say yes.
You know what's cool about you? How old are you right now?
I am 49 and a half.
Okay. So you are, oh, that's right, you had your summer birthday.
My summer birthday, my 49 and a half.
Her husband, when is your actual birthday?
January 6th.
Okay. Her husband is so thoughtful, and he actually invited Gina and myself. Unfortunately, we could not attend because it was my birthday weekend and we were celebrating with my family. But her birthday is always in the cold weather, and Amy loves the warmer weather. Her husband is so thoughtful that he threw her a surprise birthday party this summer so she could have a birthday in the warm weather. I thought that was beautiful.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell you something. And what was I gonna say? What were we just talking about? We're talking about all the different
Things
stuff.
we can do.
Oh, you 49 and a half years
Oh,
old.
yeah.
Okay. Most people hit their peak around like mid-20s. And then life is just this slow, steady downward spiral as they lose strength, they lose muscle. It's like what we typically call aging. They lose mobility, they put on weight, they feel terrible. You're pretty cool because you're going in reverse. Like the results you've seen, so if I've known you for a little over a year now, you were like 48 and a quarter when I met you, right? So 48 and a quarter, just the results in this last year plus a little have been absolutely awe-inspiring.
Yeah.
Imagine what the next year is gonna bring.
Yeah.
And the next year. So it's like you're gaining health and vitality as you age, and I just think that's the coolest thing. So kudos to you on that.
Thanks. That's amazing.
So how has it changed your relationship with your family? Because I think this is a very, very cool story.
I mean, I think, you know, again, that idea of just being able to say yes, I never have to worry about like saying yes to things. I'm able to be more active, more energetic. You know, I think my kids are proud of me. My son, actually, I wore my shirt today. My son got me this for Christmas. So my first like workout shirt, but this is what my 17-year-old got me for Christmas, which I thought was kind of cool. And then my husband has been very like inspired. He actually joined the gym too, which I'm very excited about just recently, because he wants to keep up with me. And
How transparent do you want to be?
Sure.
Okay, so Amy, after almost losing 100 pounds, almost quit again.
I did.
But
it was for what I thought was a good reason.
Okay, so this is what she said to me. Tell me if I'm incorrect, because
okay.
I want to be genuine and transparent. Amy said to me, the reason I'm going to stop is purely financial, because I'm seeing such a change in my life and everything right now, and I want to share that with my family. So I want to share with my husband, I want to share with my children. So we're going to go join a commercial gym, and that's what we're going to do. And I could tell you were torn about it. And we sat down, and I think we had we must have been here for what, like an hour and a half that night, 2 hours when we were talking. And did I sum that up properly?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What I expressed to Amy is, the reason that she's been so successful in here is because of the plan that we're following along together. and going to a commercial gym, she's not going to have that plan anymore. I manage the personal training department at two very, very large gyms in the area. And I think it's a fallacy that like people go to the gym and get in shape, because I can tell you genuinely, I have never seen one person start at a commercial gym and just like take it all the way, get in phenomenal shape, not have any hiccup, like just like go straight forward just like you are right now. And I shared that with Amy. And it was funny because I thought you were coming from a different place. Usually it's somebody's significant other wants them to quit.
Oh yeah, and he did not want me to quit. He was actually very opposed to it.
Okay, so we sat down, we had that conversation, and now your husband comes in 3 days a week, and he's been absolutely kicking ass.
Yeah.
And how has that, like you shared with me so many times, how has that changed your relationship with the two of you together?
I mean, it's just great. Like we love doing it together, and you know, we've been married for almost 24 years, and it's just like the next, you know, a next thing. That's the thing we can do together, and I think it's awesome. Like,
I think it's tremendous. And then also, I think it's tremendous the example that you're setting for your children.
Yeah. So we're getting them there. And I mean, even like my husband the other day, he was like, he was sick for a couple days, and he kind of ate kind of junky because I've been like, you want to eat more protein. He was like, yeah. He goes, I totally feel it. You know what I mean? Because you don't realize how like it affects you until you don't, but he's becoming so aware of it as well.
I thought it was really cool. It was a couple weeks ago. Remember, before we were off for a week, it was that Wednesday night, and I was chatting with you and your husband before you left for the evening. And it was just such a different you than a year ago. You were so vivacious, so full of life, so sparkly. Like you just had a great workout. It's awesome seeing your husband get started, and he's been progressing and improving. And I have no doubt that he's going to see just as phenomenal results as you. And then we're just like, you're like, what are you up to tonight? I told you I'm going to go home, see my daughter. I'm like, what are you up to tonight? I don't remember specifically what you said, but what were you were going home and you were cooking?
Oh yeah, we were making sausage on the grill, and what we were like talking about, because it was like from like it was from right, and it was like, so we like eating like organic stuff and like grass fed, because you know like one of the things that you know you've talked about is like where that stuff comes from and thinking about it.
It was just such a cool thing, because a year ago you almost quit before we started, and a year later like you're down over 100 pounds, which is phenomenal because you're so much healthier. But more, I should say, just as important is just like the difference in you mentally. It's just such a cool thing to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and a year before that, I probably would have just, you know, driven through fast food on the way home, and for if I was tired. But you know, now after the gym, like I've got the energy to go home and cook and do all that stuff.
I love it. So what are your future goals?
I just keep going. I want to get stronger. I want to get to that point where I'm not focused as much on the fat loss, but building the muscle, getting stronger, and just seeing what else I can do.
You told me one goal before. Can I share it?
Yeah.
The one with the...
Oh yeah, I want to do I want to do a chin up. I want to do the toes to chin up bar thing, but that's a little bit off. But I can do it. I have faith.
I am training you to do a chin up.
Yeah.
I want to share the reason why. The you that can do a chin up, so lift all your body weight up the ground, get your chin over the bar, and then go all the way back. What are her arms going to look like? What's her back going to look like?
Yeah.
What are her abs going to look like? What is her health going to look like? So just like everything else, let's say a chin up is grad school, and when you and I started, we were in pre-K. Maybe we're in the first grade right now, but we're still following the curriculum at your level that's going to get you there, because there's no goal that you're not going to have from being able to do that. Your health is going to be optimal, your body composition is going to be optimal. So I love those goals, and I love hearing that from you, how it's changed from always weight loss to building muscle, building metabolism, and by doing so, that's what leads to fat loss. All right, one final question for you.
Okay.
Any advice for people on the fence? You said that you stalked us online for a couple of years. You almost bailed a couple of times. Any advice for people on the fence?
I would say just do it. I mean, it's an investment, but I think one of the biggest things that Chris, with the encouragement of my husband, has taught me is that the investment in my health is worth it. And even though it's an expense, it's worth it, and it's like the long term. Like, you know, it's better than the investment in health insurance and care after and all of the things that will come with not being in shape and being strong. So do it. That's my advice, I guess. Just do it.
Amy, since I'm going to continue my 40-year-old tradition of being genuine, I'm really, really proud of you.
Thank you.
So I'm very, very proud of all of your successes thus far, and I'm even more excited about all of your future successes.
Thanks. Me too.
Thank you for your time, and we hope you found value in this podcast.